Hey fam, I hope you are having a good Saturday. I'm going to talk a little bit today about emotional maturity. It is extremely important to, as you age, learn how to control your emotional state. Sometimes that can be challenging because there are situations where people will push your buttons to try to get a reaction out of you. I have actually been a victim of this in the past where someone just pushed all the right buttons to get me to have an emotional outburst. I have lived that as part of my past. But what I learned from that experience is that when I gave into that negative emotional state, I was giving my power away to an abuser. So, what I would like to say to all of the men and women who are dealing with things that are triggering your emotional state and putting you in a negative mind space, I would encourage you to do your best not to have a reaction to those triggers. Because ultimately, when you respond in a negative way, you are giving your power away in that dynamic. And I think that it is really important to develop emotional maturity as you get older. Another thing to consider is if you react to anything that triggers you emotionally, you are going to lack the ability to navigate difficult and stressful situations with a level of clarity that is necessary to successfully navigate stressful and sometimes traumatic situations. This is not meant to come across as a "I told you so" moment or anything along those lines. This is really coming from a place of genuine care and concern for my fellow human beings. What I've experienced in previous relationships is being put in a situation where it was expected that I would tiptoe around the emotional states of other people and my emotional needs, and my emotional state was often not even considered a factor worth considering. What I learned from interactions like that is that when other people's emotional state dictates how you respond and react, you lose your sense of self in that dynamic. You lose your ability to establish and maintain healthy boundaries with other people who may be in an emotionally dysregulated state. There are so many things that can trigger us to respond in an emotional state that is not conducive to our overall well-being. It can be tough to navigate those feelings and emotions, but I assure you that with practice and perseverance and prayer, you are capable of handling situations in a mature fashion. I think that it is a sign of wisdom, intelligence, and maturity to be able to self-regulate. Anyone who's ever been in an abusive dynamic can probably attest to the fact that their partner's emotional state was typically blamed on them. That lack of accountability and self-reflection is a very common problem when it comes to emotionally abusive people. If you ever notice a pattern early in your relationship where someone else's physical violent tendencies or emotional outbursts or things like that are pinned on you rather than that person taking accountability and responsibility for the way that they choose to interact with others in the world, I want you to acknowledge that that is a problem that more than likely will escalate over time, and it is in your best interest to do a deep dive and a soul search as to whether or not that partnership, that relationship, is a healthy dynamic for you to continue participating in. There is absolutely nothing wrong with walking away from someone who does not have a problem emotionally abusing you. Whether that is a relational partner, a family member, any situation, a friendship, whatever it is. If your feelings are constantly disregarded, if your well-being is always an afterthought, you owe it to yourself to show yourself a level of self-respect that you are not being shown by those parties involved. You owe it to yourself to hold firm to your boundaries and to walk away from people and completely cut off contact with people that are harmful to your psychological well-being. Your mental health, your physical health, your emotional health, all of these are critical to your continued success and survival. Sometimes we think that these are not very important issues and that we can allow others to treat us badly without acknowledging that this will often manifest in other related problems. It can manifest in health issues. It can manifest in a lack of an ability to maintain successful financial control over your life. It can manifest in any number of ways. Being able to emotionally control yourself can have benefits in a wide variety of ways in your life. If this is something that you have been struggling with, I would strongly recommend that you consider seeking out the guidance of someone who can assist you in coping with emotional dysregulation. It is nothing to be ashamed of. It is better to find someone that can offer you the necessary guidance to ensure that it doesn't continue to sabotage your future progress and success. I wish you all the best. I hope you have a wonderful and blessed weekend. God bless you all. Have a good night.